मोअज़्ज़ज़ हज़रात और ख़वातीन और मेरे प्यारे नौजवान दोस्तों, अस्सलाम वालेकुम रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू। वैसे आज के जलसे में उर्दू में मुखातिब होना आपसे मुनासिब रहेगा, फिर भी for some reasons I am substantially speaking in English. Here and there I switch over to Urdu and Little. That would be very involved. I am one of those, by now you have known, that who has not even visited Aligarh every time in my life. And then never soaked in that atmosphere. But I have a lot of friends. जब हैदराबाद में आप हैं, हैदराबाद में I was Commissioner Police Hyderabad, I was Director General Police here. यहाँ का एक alumni association जो है अलीगढ़ का बहुत ही strong है. But most of it I find it aged. 1940s, 50s, 60s. Those are the times when these people here, they used to go to Aligarh and study. Subsequently, somehow, they stuck to Hyderabad and the institutions here. Hyderabad also came up educationally very well. And then that's the reason why they stuck to this place. I will not get into such subjects, life, his contribution, etc. You have heard quite a lot, and those of you who are students from there who have known. I have also studied quite a bit to draw inspiration in every one of us who is a Muslim and who wants to study history of your own community. You can't stay without studying the contribution, the cultural and education contribution of such Ahmad Khan. So that is given. My listening is, what is that we are going to learn from this? I have seen last 4-5 years I have been attending in the Alumni Association a similar program which is conducted on every year, October 17th in Hyderabad and Urdugar and other places. Every year I have been going, I have been speaking on the subject, I have been hearing also. But what is that we are doing? Yes, we should know the history, his life, his contribution. That will give us confidence. In the present times, particularly when we are going through a similar phase as we had in the second half of 19th century. We are going through the worst phase, if you ask me. But then, what is it we are doing beyond? वो डायग्नोसिस तो पूरी है, बीमारी क्या है ये तय हो चुका है, इलाज क्या करना है ये भी तय हो. But are we giving the treatment? This is where we are falling short as a community. This is where quite a lot needs to be done. And this is where some of us in Hyderabad have started doing something on this. In fact, when I retired very recently, 2-3 months back, I was given a lot of offers to go and do something else. But I wanted to do something in the field of education for the community. That's why I started. Government accepted the proposal, and then the support that we are getting from government to do something is unparalleled. No state government in the country can do it is necessary because you take 19th century, not only Sardaar Khan's movement at that particular time, there are others also. If you take Raja Ram Mohan Roy, 50-60 years earlier, or Jyotiba Phule in Maharashtra, Bengal, all of them were fixed on one particular aspect, that the emancipation of the communities, those who are backward, पीछे रह गए हैं, इनको अगर आगे ले जाना है तो एक ही एक जरिया है इल्म और तालीम. This was it in Maharashtra, in Bengal, in North Central Asia. Anyway, this was the one that they had thought of. Today, that needs it. That's why in Telangana what we have done, we are sticking to education. In fact, I told our Honorable Chief Minister, 70% of the budget that you are giving for minority welfare must be spent on education. And we have started with 8,000 crores of rupees. We have started 206 very high quality minority residential schools, where 75% of the seats are reserved for Muslim folks. And then out of the 206 schools we started, as many as 204 are exclusively for girls. The reason is, we wanted to show that education is important for this community. High quality education, high quality secular English medium education. But then, within that, The girl education is a little more important. That's the message that we wanted to send. That's why we started that many schools. Then imagine 1,35,000 students who will study in these schools, and in 10 years' time, when hundreds and thousands of students with high quality education will come out of this, they will not require any support from any government, reservations or no reservations, whatever happens, but they will be able to lead a life of dignity, occupy a position of real authority in the society. We have also started thinking socially what we should do. South में एक 30-40 साल से चल रहा है. Anybody who is bright, good, not so bright also, हम दो स्टेज के बारे में सोचते हैं, either medicine or engineering. These are the only two things. So much so, thousands and lakhs of students have come out doing only these two. To me, this is an aberration in society. We have neglected humanities, we have neglected other areas of work, which is causing a lot of problem for the community now. Just to correct this imbalance, we have started putting emphasis on law and aspects like sociology, economics, mathematics, chartered accountancy. These are the areas which we have started supporting. Such a committee has given its findings. It said you are socially not backward, but educationally much more backward than any other community in this country. We had our own commissions here in this state. They also said the same. But then, why? How are you going to correct this imbalance? That you don't have the social conscious now in the community. Everybody is thinking individually. I should become a doctor, मैं अच्छा डॉक्टर बनना चाह रहा हूँ. Family में भी वही सोचते हैं बच्चों के बारे में. And he wants to live individually on his own. Who is going to think about the community? If you are not going to give that community concern in education itself to these youngsters, that is why there is a need to come here. Today we say banks don't give you loans. In higher civil services, you don't have even 1%, 2% of youngsters coming in. IAS is solving why. This year was slightly better. We have about 1.7% or 1.8%. Banking loans, you don't get even 1.2, 1.3% for a population of nearly 15 to 20%. Why do we blame anybody else? How many of our youngsters are there in decision-making levels in these institutions? Next to none. In fact, in Management Finance Corporation, when we think of giving loans to the youngsters, we give 80% subsidy. Banks won't come forward to be given those remaining 20%. As a loan. This is not the situation only alone here. Throughout the country, the same situations are there. So that is why it's time we occupy our rightful place in public spaces. Politics, it could be difficult, given the circumstances. But then, with the help of knowledge is your base. On the basis of knowledge, we can occupy a lot of positions in the society which we are not doing. We should get into higher civil services. We should get into banking at officers level. We should get into insurance corporations. We should become chartered accountants. We should become government lawyers. Where are good lawyers today for the community? It's a sorry state of affairs. Whenever you sit in front of TV every evening and look at the discussions that take place, when you get one or two from the community to answer certain questions or put forward a viewpoint, but you don't have anybody intellectually who can engage with others. The spokespersons are also weak. With the result, a very wrong picture is painted to the other communities about us and our issues. So this is the reason why diagnosis is completed. We know what is the problem. We know what had happened in the past, in 19th century, when similar situation was there, post 1857, whatever happened. We took the help of education. Aligarh not only was a university, it became an education movement for the entire community. Today, the same situation has come about. Unless we start educating our youngsters, giving them high quality education, allow them to occupy all these public positions, don't expect anything is going to change. Nothing is going to change. Things will worsen than what they are today. But then when you develop a huge middle class, always for any community world over throughout history, the leadership to the communities has come, progressive and good leadership has come from middle classes, not from higher classes, not from lower. That is what we need to, that is what we need to develop. That is, even if it gained independence from 1857 to 1940, 47, whatever happened, who are the people who gave leadership? It's the lawyers, it's the doctors, it's the middle classes, not the landed gentry or the aristocracy which has given the leadership. Today, our community requires this. That is why we need to come into this and do. Yes, civil services is very, very important. In fact, I think my son, I'll give an example. This boy, this example is, I think, is important because I have mentored several boys in recent past coming into civil services. Two of them I tell very particularly. There was one boy who was working in Citibank. His annual package was 1.5 crores. He was working in Citibank. Then he met me, I told him, you are bright, you are brilliant. Why don't you try for civils? You may not get even 20-25% of what you have got there, monetarily. But people like you should come into civils. He tried, he got it. In fact, my son also was picked up after he completed his engineering from BITS to land. And he was picked up by R&D Google chain. And then they gave him a package of 96 lakhs annually. But then I told him, but why don't you try for civils? He tried. First year he got a 105, this year he got 17. And then he has made it this year. I told him two things. One is, your life is going to be much more meaningful. You will be useful not only to yourself, you will have a good life. But then you will also be relevant to the community, you will also be relevant to the country, as well as, for me the biggest thing is because Sajid Amazon knows, when we started this Civil Services Center here, Civil Services Academy in Manu, in fact I was very, very rigorous. I put a lot of conditions before mentioning that. I told him that you will give these facilities and then you will have it as a separate campus and all that. Every single demand that I made, very happily, enthusiastically he agreed and then we started that center. Now 100 boys are there. Boys and girls are there. I'm sure the result will start coming. In fact, very recently when UGC said they will have it only for 1 year, we said if you want to have it for 3 years, otherwise don't start it at all. You can't expect us to produce results in 1 year. Here in Hyderabad, another 100 were started, other place another 50. Totally 300 children were mentoring so that this need of the community to get more and more children into higher civil services is met. Then somebody else was telling, yes, we should try for the other sectors also. This we are keeping as the ultimate. Those who cannot get in, they should get into banking, they should get into other areas. Their training and their effort will never be wasted. They will fit themselves somewhere appropriately into this one. And on a day like this, when you are remembering Sir Sajid Khan, his contributions, his striving for the community, some sort of meaningful and strong action on the part of all of us. Those of us who have passed the prime and then who are in close to senior citizens category, and it's trying to mentor them. Another thing I tell you, one very important thing was told. To remember who told it, but then it was very, very important. Recently, 27 very young IAS and IPS officers met me. They are from Chhattisgarh, West Bengal, Bihar, UP, and then some other places. They came and said, sir, we hear that something is happening here, people are doing something for the youngsters. We also want to go back and do. Have to blab. When I was talking to them, I told them one thing. What are you doing? Sir, I'm a superintendent of police medicine. I'm a district collector in Chhattisgarh. They were telling, I said, what? You have just started out. First, establish your image. Become useful to yourself, to your families, to your immediate communities. Then think of doing something else. Jab tak aap, when you are all students, unless you come up, you make your futures bright and good, you will not be useful to anybody else. Remember this. me, sometimes the engineering college students, they come there, we want to do something for the community. I said, forget about doing things for them, just do it for yourself. So complete your education, establish yourself, then start doing it. That's the time we should do. On a day like this, I really feel that we should do something very concrete. Every year we keep on reminiscing about it and also re-educating ourselves to the cause for which great people like him, like such a stood.
मैंने ये पका दिया
We will only be meeting
समझ में तो आ रहा है।
and then discussing anything that great would happen. I was just seeing the archives in the year
सब चीज़ जानते हैं।
1883.
अरबी में भी आपको बोल देगा ना समझ
And,
जाएगा।
civil services, etc., had started by then. In the Bombay presidency, when the elections took place at that time, before the advent of Sir Saidhanov, 384 posts that were recruited, there and United Provinces together, of the 324, there were only 4 Muslims who take up. In 10 years' time, it made a huge difference. It started getting over 20-25%. That is what high quality education can make, the difference that it can make. And yes, sticking to our culture, the religious roots, etc., is also important. Both are not diverse from each other. If you see any one single religion in this world which balances your progress in this world and the needs of the other world, you can't find a greater religion than Islam when it comes to that. You just can't find any other religion. That's why the other day when youngsters sent a beautiful message on WhatsApp. When everybody was reviling against Islam, this boy wrote, yes, I am a Muslim. There are 100 things wrong with me. If 100 things are wrong with me, blame me, not my religion. The problem is I'm not having my religion properly. That is why I have come to this pass, and this is the problem. The whole history of what happened from 17th to 15th century was being recounted. When you were a knowledge society, the world was looking up to you. When you froze your knowledge, when you refused to grow from 16th century onwards till now, you are now that place is happening. You let me go for a slide. All of us are seeing what is happening. Why is it today the Fortune 500 number is from the top 500, not even one Muslim dominated companies? When is it, when was it the last Nobel laureate came about from the community? Why are we not thinking in all this? Unless we stick to knowledge, stick to education, and get into those positions, this one, nobody is going to respect you, and the community's future is also not going to change. Some initiatives are started not only here. I keep meeting a lot of friends from other states. They also come here, want to see what is happening. We also go there and try to see. I'm sure something very good is going to happen. And in fact, next month, a good conference will be hosted in Hyderabad, exclusively on education, the status of Muslim education in our country and what we need to do. Unless we start doing something concrete nowadays, we're not going to develop. This is a message we should take from a day like this.